I was just thinking about, man, I was just thinking about Epstein. And I heard some things last night about Epstein, what actually went on about people having him in a headlock and chokehold and saying, breathe, breathe, breathe. And the guy was calling for help because he was being choked out. Man, hey, there's a on the website on my Facebook, I put up Clinton, and it says no one could have 51 friends who committed suicide. Hello. So if you know the Clintons, just go to your room, sit down, and commit suicide. I mean, this chick, she has death all around her. I wonder how history will look at Hillary Clinton. I wonder how history will look at Hillary and all the people that have died around Bill and Hillary. I wonder how will people look at that. I mean, you have to look at it because it's crazy. Not that many people. 52 people committed suicide around Hillary and Bill Clinton. Around Hillary, it was 52. I think around both of them is something like 65, 66. Man, oh man, oh man. Amazing. Amazing. There's a little girl, and this is a kind of an aside. Because I saw the story today, I think in USA Today. And there's a little girl who sued the Berlin Boys Choir because they wouldn't let a girl in. Why do girls always think they can get in boys' stuff? Get your own stuff. Why do little girls and grown women always want to be around grown men? You know, that's that European thing. You know, leave men alone. No, you're not our equal. No, it's not nice being with you or having you in our business. Women change the whole tenor of a meeting. They do. That's what they do. You know, you'd like to say different, but that's what they do. Just like when a man comes into a room or a beauty salon or a gym, he changes the tenor of that gym. And, you know, I was looking at, they were talking about gender integration in the services. And whenever they interject these women, you know, disciplined guys, you know, the discipline to the mission and commitment to the mission breaks down. Why? Because the guys are trying to show the woman who's the alpha dog. Hey, I'm just saying, you know, men are men, women are women. Now, you know, I think I shared with you all that I went to an Astros game, Sox game earlier in the week. White Sox play Houston Astros. Great game. So the Sox win the game 13-9. And there's a story floating in U.S. and New York Times today, and they're talking about with the sophisticated use of analytics and a culture of frankness in the clubhouse, Houston has become the envy of the Major League Baseball. How about that, man? Amazing. But it's you know, they were tough. I tell you, they lost to the Sox 13-9, but that was a fluke. You know, like I said, I know you probably hear this sound of freedom in the background, but it is. These guys are flying everywhere, man. They're just blowing through the air. You know. Oh man. Wow. He gave years later she got to thank him. Okay. All righty. So the clubhouse of these guys, they talk about how frank and honest they are and how the general manager, Jeff Ludow, is, just on top of things using analytics and how it works with the team and for this team. Don't know if it worked for the Dodgers. You know, Dodgers need a new bullpen. Hope they got it. I think they're leading National League West. I think they are. Anyway, I don't really start to pay attention until playoffs. So when it comes to baseball, football, I follow pretty intensive. Okay. Now, believe it or not, and this is the last 10 minutes of the show. So, believe it or not, today in modern medicine, myths about physical racial differences are used today by doctors. Believe it or not. And I knew it because I had a doctor who refused to give me any painkiller. And I really should have snatched the life out of his little punk ass. But I was in severe pain. And this guy made it sound like I was just trying to get some painkiller. If I see him, and I got to look up his name, I'm going to slap him. Count on it. So, people can go, oh, Charles, look, there's a guy who put something up on out there on the internet that I threatened to punch him in the nose. But he never tells you what I threatened to punch him in the nose about. Yeah, I threatened to punch him right square in the nose. He called me a liar and tried to minimize my experiences of having guns pulled on me on traffic stops. Like he could somehow justify that. It's like white folks always justify these things that happen to black people. Like they justified lynching. Here we're talking about today. Doctors still believe, and this has been, proven time and time again. And I've experienced it, that blacks and whites are physically different. But what they don't tell is that blacks have superior organs. Blacks have superior skin. Blacks have superior hair. They don't tell those things. That's why, the old adage, black don't crack. Hello. I don't know black women who really buy more than Dove soap and put on their skin, and their skin's beautiful. They don't have any wrinkles. Okay? So, John Brown. They were talking about in this one thing, the excruciating, painful experiments went on until his body was disfigured by a network of scars. But John Brown, an enslaved man in Baldwin County, Georgia, plantation in the 1820s and 1830s, was lent to a physician, a guy named Dr. Thomas Hamilton, who was obsessed with proving the physiological differences between black and white people existed. Hamilton used Brown to try to determine how deep black skin went, believing it was thicker than white skin. Brown eventually escaped to England, recorded his experiences in an autobiography, and published them in 1855 as Slave Life in Georgia, a narrative of the life, sufferings, and escape of John Brown, a fugitive slave, now in England. In Brown's words, Hamilton applied blisters to my hands, legs, feet, which bear the scars today. He continued until he drew up the dark skin from between the upper and the under one, and he used to blister me at intervals of about 2 weeks. This went on for 9 months. Brown wrote until the doctor's experiments had so reduced me, I was useless in the field. Wow. Hamilton was a courtly Southern gentleman, a respected physician, a trustee of the Medical Academy of Georgia, and like many other doctors of the era in the South, he was also a wealthy plantation owner who tried to use science to prove that differences between black people and white people went beyond culture, and were more than skin deep, insisting that black bodies were composed and functionally different than white bodies. They believed black people had large sex organs and small skulls, which translated to promiscuity and the lack of intelligence, and a higher tolerance for heat, as well as immunity to diseases and susceptibility to others. These fallacies, presented as fact and legitimized in medical journals, bolstered society's view that enslaved people were fit for little outside of forced labor and provided support for racist ideology and discrimination. Public policies. Amazing, man. This is unreal. This is in the New York Times Magazine. You can read these stories yourself. I'm just going to read one a week, probably on Freedom Friday. And this is part of what they call the 1619 Project, celebrating or recognizing and observing the 400th anniversary of the beginning of American slavery. It aims to reframe the country's history, understanding 1619 as our true founding and placing the consequences of slavery and contributions of Black Americans at the very center of the story. We tell ourselves about who we are. That'll be a change. That will be a change. Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. These stories went on and these experiments. Wow. Well, I tell you, it's crazy and it's torturous and it's barbaric. It's barbaric as when black folks were lynched, people took body parts. And I'm not talking about the 1800s. I'm talking about 1950s and 60s people. I'm not talking about a long time ago. But this is something you need to read. You know, it's some stories that are being carried by the New York Times Magazine. I don't know if you have to sign in to get to these stories or not. I subscribe to the New York Times, so it's a little. So I don't know how you get to it, how you would get to it. But man, it's interesting. Damn, it's interesting. Woo, man, I tell you, yeah, we've come a long way as a country, as a civilization, because some of this stuff is so barbaric and inhumane. It's like man's inhumanity to man. Like when we look at the Romans and you go, how were they civilized? How did they consider themselves civilized? They were barbarians. Oh, man. I wish I could say something different, but I can't. So, I'm looking at the weekend that's coming up. We're going to have a great weekend of sports. Got Premier League soccer coming up. You know, I'm a Premier League fan. So for those of you who enjoyed Premier League soccer, we can come on Monday and I'll talk about it a little bit. Let me see here. Did I get that back up? Let's see. Chicago. Let's see. Americans descendants of slaves. Yeah. Yeah, that's always interesting. Yeah, AODS is always interesting. AODS. You should call in, man, and talk about it. Maybe I can. Well, it's too late to open up the lines, but AODS. Let's do it next week. Okay. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'm always willing to jump on some interesting topics. Let's see here. So let's go over here and we will. Let's see. Trying to pull something up. Let's see, where is it? So yeah, Premier League soccer. So tomorrow, for those of you who are interested, and I'm definitely interested, that's why I'm looking at it. Arsenal is playing Burnley at Burnley, or at Arsenal. Brighton, Norwich is playing Newcastle. Oh man, I'm sorry that I'm fascinated with this Premier League soccer thing. Then Sunday, my team's playing Chelsea. It's playing Leicester at Chelsea. Yep, it's going to be interesting. Match day. They have 38 days that they play. Tomorrow is match 2. So tomorrow and Sunday. So I'll be right there watching. I betcha. I betcha. Yep. Then I wonder how many people, maybe I should start a little pool of how many people will get shot in Chicago this weekend. Will it be over 30? Will it be over 40? Will it be under 45? Will it be over 45? Hey, I'm just saying. It's there. I'm just making sure that I don't get my behind shot, okay? I mentioned that story about the little girl in the Berlin boys choir. The court, looking at it, the court threw it out. Saying that it's a court Friday today blocked a 9-year-old German girl from joining Berlin's oldest cultural institution. It's an all-boys choir after she sued to belong to sing to the chorus in a case that pitted a push for gender parity against centuries of musical tradition. We're not changing, folks. We're not changing. All that LGBT stuff, we don't care how you have sex. It will not work in our culture. Put it back in the closet. Act like a decent human being. We're not interested in your satanic values. I'm just saying. Now, that phrase may come back to haunt me, but I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, I believe in Jesus Christ. And you can put that in that, whatever I'm saying about, the satanic, I call it, Satan surrogates. So, Berlin's administrative court said that artistic freedom was more important than equal treatment in this case. Wow. They say the case prompts a fierce debate about the difference between the voices of girls and boys at certain ages and the mystique surrounding the tone of boys' voices, described as wondrous and natural but utterly transient. Wow. It's great. It's interesting. So, we survived that battle. We don't get to survive many, I tell you. I tell you that. Hey, but look, we're going to come back on Monday and do our thing right here on Red State Talk Radio. So, probably have Dan Perkins with us. Then I'm going to try to get Tony Tata during the week, Frank Venucio, maybe Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul. Okay? Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Okay, we're going to continue. Even though we are off the air, we're going to continue. Have some people out here that are watching. Oh, man. Somebody was trying to reply to Andrew. And Timmy came up. Let's see. 3 comments. Let me see if I can find any of them. What happened to my comments? Come on. Oh, man. Oh, come on, Butler. Okay, here we go. So, Andrew McLaurin said, these doctors look at black folks like they are drug addicts when it comes to expenses and pain. My wife has sickle cell, and they play games with giving her pain meds. Got to get a new doctor, baby. Get a new doctor. I wish I had a law license. We'd sue the hell out of them. No, I would sue the hell out of them, is what I would do. Wait until I get that law degree. You know. Let's see here. Timmy Forney. Timmy Forney. Say, Charles, what do you think of Pelosi saying that Illinois is a model of success and needs duplicated nationwide? I believe she needs a look-up definition of success. I agree with you. Oh man, you can't beat it. I love it. Can't beat it. Hey man, you can't beat it. So we're gonna sign off. But hey, thanks for tuning in, folks. Appreciate you. We'll be back Monday, like I said. We're doing our thing, and hope you'll tune in. Check us out. Reality check with me. Okay. All right. For some reason, my music is not playing. Yeah, it is playing. Playing now. All right. See ya. Take care. Boom, boom. Boom. Boom.